Thank you very much, folks. First off, I just want to say thank you to Alex and Kira and the rest of the team, Patrick, Gemma, for hosting such an amazing event. And I know this is the first year that it's a part of the Feel and Football event. So, yeah, I appreciate all those guys. And I think if you can, give them a big round of applause for me. Okay. One of the reasons why we wanted to speak at this and obviously exhibit at this is a lot of you have gone through a physical transformation, whether that's through mental or whatever it may be. And to us at ECA, we want to be part of that physical journey because that can help us mentally, hormonally, spiritually, and so forth. And this topic is something that is very relevant at the minute. Basically weight loss medications, and I'm sure we know at least one person, all of us individually, who has been taking the likes of these Ozempics, Mounjaros, GLP-1 inhibitors and so forth. And my talk is basically about nature versus needle. What is more beneficial, or what can possibly be more beneficial to you for a longer sustainable approach, okay? Because this is not the first time that weight loss medications have been at the forefront. And if there is something that is very, very simple, like I want to understand it. Like I speak to my clients daily and I see the sacrifice, I see the hard work that they put in to getting fitter, stronger, leaner, improving their body composition and all these things. And then you see, you know, Mary or Peter down the street who are just jobbing themselves and they're losing weight, and then you could just go green-eyed envy. You're like, why are they losing weight and why am I not doing this, and I'm putting myself through all this here. So that's what I want to talk about. But again, my name's PJ. We have a facility that's based in Belfast called ECA Belfast. We train people to become personal trainers, so education is a massive part of what we do. And we also coach people, and like I said, we try and focus on 4 things: get them stronger, fitter, leaner, and moving better. So it's important that I stay on top of topics like this here, and this is why I wanted to speak about this. But a little show of hands, who has struggled with their weight before? Okay, good, good. Who has managed to lose weight? Put your hand up. Okay. So would you say that we have a weight loss problem? Yeah?
But I find it harder to
You find it harder to
get weight off.
get weight off? Now, knowing you, Carl, and I know our history, like again, there's something that becomes really prevalent. The older we get, the harder it becomes, right? The more times that we put our body through a process, the more difficult it becomes, okay? Because the human body is an organism that adapts to the environment that surrounds it, okay? So this is the reason why we've managed to survive for hundreds of thousands of years. So it will adapt to the environment, whether it's a colder environment or whatever it may be, our body will find a way of adapting. So if we're thinking about losing weight because we want to look a certain way, our body's not thinking like that. It's thinking from a survival mechanism in terms of how can I maintain my life, essentially. But the reason why I ask that is I don't believe that we have a weight loss problem. Okay, these medications that are being prescribed, and again that are backed by the NHS and various other medical sort of entities, have proven that we can help people lose weight. Okay, there's a study done in 2012. They took 2 groups of people. Okay, they both give them a placebo drug. They said to one group, this is a guaranteed weight loss pill. You take this, you will lose weight. The other group got, again, a placebo, just something that was a multivitamin. Now, the group who got the weight loss pill, does anybody any idea how many times on average, well, I'll say percentage, that they actually remembered to take the pill? Any ideas? Shout it out. No? 75? The answer is actually 58%. So when someone presented this group of people with an actual guaranteed solution, almost half the time they forgot to take it. Who here is meant to take a multivitamin every day and sometimes forgets? Because life gets in the way, doesn't it? Okay, because sometimes your weight loss is not the main priority. You're getting your kids to school or getting to work or dealing with a project becomes that priority. Okay, so sometimes it slips our mind, we forget and so forth. Okay, and like I said, this isn't the first time that these types of medications came to the forefront. I once had a client, and I actually remember this. It's probably about 10 years ago now. They had trained with me. They'd stopped, hadn't coached them in about a year, and I met them at an event. And they'd lost weight and they looked amazing. And like I said, it's about a decade ago, showing my age. And I said to the girl in question, like, oh, you're looking amazing. What have you been doing? And she says, I've been taking these weight loss pills. I says, okay, well, where did you get them from? She says, oh, I bought them online. And I was like, do you actually know what you're putting in your body? And do you know what her response was? No, but I've lost a stone. Yeah, I don't care. I have lost a stone. And to her, that was the most important thing. And that's been an amazing thing for me to hear as a coach, because when I'm trying to help someone, I need to understand their psyche in terms of where they want to be and how quickly you want to get there. Okay? Do you know how many people walk into my gym and say, hey, PJ, I want to train here for a year to get in shape? Probably nobody. We want a result as quick as possible. The problem is it's not as simple as that, because we have multi-faceted things can come into it. Injuries, we can have food leaks, we can have medical issues. All these things can affect someone. And I always say to my clients, I'm not trying to keep you here. I want to get you a result as quick as possible. But there's also an element of sacrifice. And then again, are you willing to prepare to take that sacrifice? But speaking with this girl, and she says, it's okay, I've lost a stone. And that was her rationale for taking those. Fast forward about 4 weeks later, she's in hospital, right? Sent a message, are you okay? And her response was, you were 100% right. So basically, liver started to shut down, issues started to arise from taking this medication, because again, she had to buy it online. You couldn't get it legally here in the UK and Ireland and so forth. And so she was willing to take a risk with her health long term to get a specific result. And like I said, I'm not bothering anybody about that, because I understand a lot of people attribute how they look to their confidence. It's not that I want to promote that. I don't turn around and think that you've got abs, you're going to be happier, because I'll tell you a little tip, it won't make you happier. Okay? Like, you should be doing it for the reasons in terms of, like, this little chunky man here, if you can see, who's sitting there eating his thing, that's my little man. Right, he's 9 months old. I only brought him over to get those abs. And like, he's going to be the reason why I choose to try and look after my health and fitness. And the way that I train now is completely different. But if we don't have a big enough reason why, then it's not going to motivate us to stay the longer course. It's going to be easier because you've got the resources to pay for something or to get something prescribed, that you will take the easier route. Okay? And that's where the actual nature of these quick fixes tend to come in. Now, for anybody who's not aware, GLP-1 medications, basically the likes of the name brands that you hear, Ozempic, Mounjaro, amongst other ones, okay? How they work within the body is they produce a hormone, okay? That hormone tells our body that, hey, we're full, okay? You don't need to eat anymore, okay? Now, the process and how they work, they basically slow down our digestive system, okay? So that stomach and that food is staying residually in our guts, in our intestines, and that hormone is produced to say, hey, listen, we're full, we don't need to eat anything, right? So it mimics us as an appetite suppressant, okay? That's how they're working. Now, I genuinely thought, oh my God, this is going to be the end of gyms. Like, if you can lose weight and all you have to do is do this thing, this is going to be a massive thing on my business. This is really going to affect how we coach and so forth. And I'm, just to give you a quick fast forward, I'm not anti this by any stretch of the imagination, because there will be people out there who will need this, people who are maybe incapacitated in terms of movement, and it could be something that saves their life, okay? But the reason why I wanted to speak about this again, like I said, is because we don't have a weight loss problem. What we have is a weight rebound problem, okay? Because I can guarantee everybody in here at some point has managed to lose weight, Okay, whether it's through exercise, whether it's through nutrition, whether it's a combination of both. Okay, the question and the problem has always been, how do I keep it off? Okay, and that to me is the bigger question than, is someone taking one of these medications, or is somebody choosing to do the traditional route of exercise and nutrition? Okay, and like I said, I don't want to come here and put narratives in your head. I want you guys to listen to this information and make that decision for yourself. Because a few years ago, I released, we all know the singer Adele, don't we? Yeah. So I put on a poll in the story of her and her weight loss transformation. And I actually asked people on the page, I says, do you prefer Adele before, when she was heavier, or do you prefer Adele now, the way she looks? And the majority were like, they preferred how she looked after the transformation. And I asked everybody, I reached out to people after, and I says, why do you feel like that's the answer, or why do you feel like she looks better or worse? And a lot of them were just happy for her. They're happy to see her smiling, beaming. The majority of other people who supported her when she was bigger, I'm making an assumption here, but I can guarantee that's going to be people who have struggled with their weight, are probably naturally going to be heavier, and they have a connection with her when she was bigger, and that was probably one of the reasons why. Okay? And only one person got back to me and says, like, what do you prefer? And I says, it doesn't matter what I prefer. It's her body. It's her choice. She makes that decision based on her. But what I will say from a perspective of health, 2/3 of the money that is spent in the NHS is spent on obesity-related illnesses. Okay? So if the NHS is spending on average £10 billion a year, 6 to 7 billion of that is going to obesity-related illnesses. Diabetes, heart disease, various cancers, and so forth. So at some point, there's an education proponent that needs to come into that to teach people why it is important to look after their health long term. Because if we constantly keep looking at these quick fixes and thinking, hey, I just want to lose a stone here before I go on holiday, great. What's going to happen after? Because let's be honest, we're all going to enjoy ourselves on holiday, aren't we? Like, we're going to drink, we're going to have food, everything's going to feel like you just want to relax. And you deserve that, especially if you work hard and, you know, you've got family and you want to show them that, you know, you can have some downtime. So when we look at these weight loss medications, I want you to think of it like this, right? Is this going to get me to where I want to be in 6 months' time, a year's time, 2 years' time? Okay? Because the research is conclusive that most people who lose weight, whether they do it through a natural means as well, right? The average person after 2 years, 80% of those people will put that weight back on. What? And plus some. And that's a really important thing, because has anyone ever read the book The Body Keeps the Score? Yeah. Okay. That's the way I look at it as well. Like, your body's looking at a balance and an equilibrium, right? When you take from it, it usually will want to go the other way. I almost look at it like a pendulum. If you're over here and you completely change your life and you go this way, I guarantee it will swing back and it will try and find that middle ground. So if you have a really like unhealthy lifestyle, poor sleep, poor nutrition, lots of alcohol, no movement, and then you go to, oh, hey, I'll do this 12-week transformation, change everything that you've done about what you, like who you are as a person, I guarantee you'll see results because you're going to the extreme. But what if you can't sustain that? Like, what does that say? Like, because one of the reasons we stopped doing 12-week transformations, we got people abs, they looked phenomenal, they looked amazing. The problem was no one was able to sustain that. And so we went, there's a fundamental problem here. We're basically buying into the hype of just solving a quick weight loss solution. And if you guys are coming to Happy Fest, it's because you want to go on a spiritual journey. You just want to look at your body holistically. You want to find ways that you can transform everything that happens in your life. And I guarantee you do one yoga class, you speak to one health coach or one life coach, has your life dramatically changed in that one session? No, it hasn't. It's given you food for thought. It's led you to where we want to go, which is the one step in front. Okay, so when we're thinking about our weight loss journey, I want you to think of it like this. I am not against GLP-1s I want to just make sure that when they are prescribed or if you are taking them, that it is done in a safe environment with medical supervision. Because one of the most crazy things I heard was a girl at a hairdresser's was getting her hair done, and the hairdresser was actually getting the weight loss jobs. And this girl came in, no gloves, no nothing, just says, "Hey, I'm here to give you your job." In the middle of a of a full hairdresser, right? No sort of thought or consequence of just like, oh, maybe there's an issue with needles or whatever it may be. And again, if I go back to that girl who lost that stone, I try and get into the mindset of, if I told you all you had to do was take this injection to get to where you want to go, or I can put you through 12 weeks of hell, physical exercise, like restricting your diet and doing those things, what sounds more appealing? Yeah, the injections. But what are we missing out on? We're missing out on the physical transformation that occurs, not only physical, but also the mental transformation. How many people here have overcome a hurdle, an obstacle, and went, I'm glad I done that, and never felt better? You've always felt better. Yeah. Has anybody done that where you just didn't want to go to the gym that day and then after the session you feel amazing? Yeah.
And then you always do feel better.
100%. And to me, it's not only that fitness thing, it's the resilience that it builds. Like if you can, push yourself physically and you feel more confident after that, like you feel more confident in your body, you feel stronger, you build better resilience. Like I've said this to my partner Orla, like she managed to get that wee man out there in about 3.5 hours in labour. And I said to her, I was like, honestly, see, your strength training, everything that's involved has helped you to do that. Okay? You don't get that with a job, because what you're doing is you're going from step A and going to the final hurdle. Okay? And when you skip those steps in between, you don't have that actual transformational journey. You just have I have this outcome. And what do you think is going to happen at the end when you haven't overcome those obstacles? You haven't built that resilience. And then maybe you can't afford the injections anymore. Or maybe what is actually happening a lot, and I'm sure we've all seen this, the health implications that are arising from these. Kidney failure, gallstones, like blurred vision is one that I've seen, nausea, constant sickness. Like again, we have to weigh those options up to the point of going, what is going to be more beneficial to me? And how many times here, and I'm sure people have tried this, how many times have you went to the gym to go, all I want to do is lose weight, or restricted your diet to taking out carbohydrates or following the next fad diet? How many times do you have to fall, bang your head to wake up and go, that's probably not the best approach for me? And again, listen, I'm a big fan of put your hand in the cooker and burn your hand, because you need to. If you just listen to what I say and go, yeah, PJ says I should just be exercising and fitness and so forth, I think you need to, not encouraging you to go out and try these, and you need to almost burn yourself to go, that's not the right way for me. Can I ask you a question? What got you into the gym initially? Mental health. So it wasn't results based, it was generally mental health. Cool. 100%. Anybody follow Chris Williamson? No? So he was on Piers Morgan, and Piers Morgan asked him a question, and he says, if you could have one thing, mental strength or physical strength, what would you choose? Mental? 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 Yeah, 100%. Anybody go physical? No? Okay, so that's interesting. Everybody's saying mental health, right? Yeah. Do me a favor, stand up for me, please. Okay? Stand up, folks. Right? Don't worry, I'm not going to make you do too many crazy things, right? All I want you to do is I want you to go and shake it out, okay? Give me 5 seconds of that. I know this sounds weird. Just trust me. Shake it out as loud as you can and go, louder. Louder. Shake it out, shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. Good, and relax. Anybody feel a wee bit more energetic, a wee bit more pumped? Yeah? Stupid as this sounds, Chris Williamson chose physical strength over mental strength. And his reasoning I thought was amazing because I would have chose mental strength. But the fact that when you move your body and you put yourself under physical stress, you change your mental capacity, your mental well-being, everything that you do, that endorphin release, those hormones that are released when you physically overcome something or when you finish that exercise, that is why you can grab a seat. That is why I love movement, okay? You don't want to go to the gym. You turn up, you do a session, you feel amazing afterwards, okay? The hardest part is for me, if I had to do it, I would physically drive to my client's house because I know, like, they're going to feel better after. And you can ask yourself this question, if you fast forward, right, you're 20 years in the future, okay, and you have to go back to your previous self and convince them either not to do the weight loss medication or invest their money in stocks, right, because you know, say it's Tesla or it's Bitcoin, that it's going to make them a hell of a lot of money. How convincing do you think you would be to yourself? Like if you had to turn around and say, you need to put your money, no, I don't want it. Trust me, it's going to work. Like if they kept saying no, but you are so 100% adamant that this is going to work, that this is going to be the best thing for you, of course you're going to try with all your heart. And that's what the physical transformation that I want you guys to go on, right? Now I understand as well that gyms are intimidating. They're not places where a lot of people feel comfortable, okay? That's one of the reasons why, again, I'm sorry if I feel like I'm plugging my place, but there's no mirrors, right? There's a meet and greet, because I understand that this is not somewhere where people feel comfortable. My joke is, if I walk into a hairdresser's, right, with my bald head, I'm going to feel a wee bit out of place. I'm not going to feel comfortable. Okay, it's not going to be an environment where I feel is conducive. And so if we can find places where people can exercise easily, safely, put them on a good path, or what's actually really becoming apparent now is you can microdose with these types of medication and add health and fitness in there, okay? And then when you get to the point, the wee man squealing, and then when you get to the point of coming off the medications, you now have a strategy to actually maintain the results that you have, okay? Because if you try and fast forward and skip that and take the easy shortcut, and listen, I don't judge anybody for it, we've all tried to do it, and I try to do it myself, eh? But I also know that I end up banging my head and falling face first every time. And I'll always choose 100% to physically exert myself to the difference it makes to me physically and also mentally. And I've said this to my partner, Orla, I've got to the point now, and I think there's a transformational period where you start off, you want to lose weight, you want a specific goal, you want to build muscle, you want to get this goal. And there's a time frame in there for everyone. Could be 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years, where I have people who come back to me and they're like, PJ, I need to train. Oh, well, what's the goal? I actually just need to train. Like, it's good for me mentally. It's good for me physically. Unfortunately, those weight loss medications are not really going to provide that, okay? So again, if I can urge you in any sort of aspect to, if you are considering them or if you are taking them, I don't judge you. I want you to think of where are you going to be in the next 12, 18, 24 months, okay? And if you are using them, start implementing some health and wellness stuff, whether it's just walking, whether it's just a little bit of movement. Find somebody who you connect with. The great thing about Happy Fist is it could be Pilates, it could be yoga, it could be cold water therapy, it could be something. But if you do that, you're going to start building these small incremental habits that are actually going to help you sustain that weight loss. Okay, so remember, the weight loss is just the first part of the equation. The bigger question that we need to ask ourselves is how do we keep that weight off? Because if you're just pressing this magic button to get there, I guarantee at some point you're going to forget to take the pill. Like those people with their weight loss pills, you're going to forget. You're going to go on the slide. When you go on the slide, what is the first thing you think of? I need to go back. So there becomes a dependency. We haven't found anything that is actually making us feel empowered, making us feel like I'm stronger, I'm fitter, I'm more confident about myself. Because the beautiful thing about Happy Fest and the people that you meet here and all the exhibitors, I guarantee the best ones exude an energy, an enthusiasm, something that makes you go, wow, I want to spend time with that person, or I want to work with that person. Okay? So thank you very much, folks. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, please just shout them out for me. Any questions about, I don't want to go over it because I didn't want to go into too much detail because obviously medical ways, but anything health, fitness, mental health ways, shout out, or even just raise your hand. I love when people are quiet. Yeah. Go ahead. T3. Hands up if you know what T3 is. No? So T3 is basically a hormone that is produced by your thyroid, right? Does anybody here have a thyroid issue and is currently taking Thyroxin? I'm not taking it, by the way. Sorry, that may pinpoint. But basically, if you have an underactive thyroid, sometimes an overactive, depending, you will be prescribed T4, okay, which is Thyroxin, right? That goes into your body, and then your body converts that T4 to T3, which is the active compound. If we don't have a healthy metabolism or a healthy thyroid, it's going to be really hard for us to lose weight. Okay, so that might be an indicator that you need to get something sorted with that. But T3 is a compound, and it has been used more so probably in the bodybuilding and weight loss circles. The issue that you need to be careful with is the dose. Because if you take that directly, you will lose weight very quickly, depending on the dose. But again, we asked that question, where are you going to be then in 6 months and so forth? Okay, so if you are prescribed any of that, you cannot buy it. You can't buy it online, but it's not something that will be actively given to you. But go and get your thyroid levels checked. Go and speak to someone who is a hormonal expert as well, because your doctor might just tell you that your range is good, but it could be on the very low, and that could be one of the reasons why you may be struggling with weight loss. So thank you for your question. But T3, yes, just be very careful with how much that you take. And again, like I said, it is proven to help you lose weight because it speeds up your metabolism. But the other thing is, anytime you speed something up, you can end up getting an adverse effect, which is slowing it down as well. Any other questions? No? Any health, fitness, weight loss before I hand it over to Alex? Yeah? Well, like I said earlier, they are 100% medically proven to help weight loss, right? The research is like conclusive. They work. That's why I was thinking, okay, this is a problem for my industry, because understanding how people think, we want to get there as quick as possible. Now, I actually had a client come back to me and who had said she had tried them and started telling me about the effects of her. What we don't know is the long-term effects. And each person is almost individually being affected by it. So with any sort of group of research and so forth, there's always a direct correlation with what is happening. So you might see a massive group of people going, I have no symptoms, I feel great, this is amazing. You will get statistical outliers where somebody's like, oh my God, this has crippled me. You'll hear the horror stories, this is like somebody has died. But if you look at the research, they're 100% conclusive, they do work. The problem I have is, if you were offered a 1 milligram dose of Mounjaro and you were offered a 10 milligram dose of Mounjaro, I guarantee the question that most people ask is, what is going to help me lose weight quicker? Not thinking about the consequence, they'll go, I want the 10 milligrams. And maybe they may have an adverse reaction. So like anything, if you are stepping into that realm, speak with a health professional. Again, I'm not against it because this could be the thing that actually helps us to avoid heart disease, that helps us to avoid various cancers and so forth. I don't know. There's
She done it, and it says it's only active for 4 weeks. So see when you get a dose after a 4-week dose at 5 milligrams, she's doing 1 milligram. But even if you haven't took the whole 10 milligrams or whatever in 4 weeks, and she's making dose and after that, so
Yeah.
it's inactive. It doesn't work no more. But then all her symptoms, but she's good for active. So
Yeah.
I can help her get aches and pains, stuff like that. I can get her name, but it's very
Yeah,
good.
there's been loads of people who've done those experiments, and I'll give you an extreme example. Everybody has heard of bodybuilders, people who use steroids. Yeah. So if you think of the main steroid that most people talk about is like testosterone, right? As a male, if I take a superficially high dose of testosterone, there's a balance in my body of testosterone and estrogen. So what I'm doing is I'm superficially enhancing this, and my estrogen levels will drop. Now, what that means is my testicles will stop producing sperm, which means potentially I may not be able to have kids. And then when I stop taking that medication, if I've been taking this long enough and I don't look after my body, I get this adverse swing. So the reason why I'm saying this is if you keep taking these GLP-1s, which produces this hormone that tells us that we're full, guess what happens after a long-term use? Your body doesn't know when it's full anymore because it hasn't got that superficial level to suppress the appetite anymore, which is something that happens a lot. But microdosing, I think if you're going to do it, you need to do that. I would probably recommend that. But one of the big issues that we have is muscle loss. Okay? And I always try and say to the ladies I work with, if you want to be straight up, straight down with no curves, then you focus on weight loss. If you want to focus on fat loss and have a physique, nice glutes, nice arms, nice back, whatever it may be, fat loss is where you want to be. And the difference is weight loss, you will lose muscle, you will lose fat, you will lose water, you will lose carbs. Fat loss, you will lose water, you'll lose carbs, and you'll lose fat. You maintain that muscle mass. So with the GLPs, they can help you, but you also, I would say, cycle off that after a few weeks or so forth. Again, speak with a medical professional for that. But yeah, that's what I'd recommend. One more before we go. Sorry, Alex, am I stealing all this time? Any more? Good.
I know you were saying about start when one jar will come out and you were worried about your fix in the gym. Have you had any thoughts about doing the 12-week structure alongside before taking the weight loss jabs to help you sustain it afterwards?
Do you know what? Just as Karen had said, I'd actually had a conversation and I was like, do you know what? I don't like to shit on something if I haven't tried it, especially because the research is so good. So it's not something that we've implemented, but I've probably looked at things before and went, well, I'll create a plan that has the certain supplements or whatever it is. So it might be something, and Darren, I might actually get to document it. So if anybody want to put themselves forward for it, I'll take you through 12 weeks free coaching. You just have to take €1 and pay for it yourself. Yeah. But thank you very much, folks. Thank you for coming and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you very much. PG, where can we find you if people want to take you up on that offer?
We're based in Belfast City Centre. You can find us online, ECA Belfast. We're right next to the Black Taxi Rank and Hotel Abus, just off Castle Street. And we also help people become personal trainers. So if that's something you're interested in, you've gone through a spiritual journey and you want to go through and teach people moving their body, how that makes a difference, then yeah, you can contact us there. Thank you.